She told me to leave. Her own sister. The words came out cold and clean, slicing through the silence of her spotless suburban kitchen. You can't stay here, Ava. My kids look up to you, and I don't want them thinking tattoos are okay. For a moment, I thought she was joking. I just stood there, a mug of coffee halfway to my lips, staring at her like she'd started speaking a foreign language. The smell of fresh bread hung in the air, the kind she baked every Sunday morning. The counters gleamed, every corner of her world polished into perfection. I was the imperfection she wanted to wipe away. My arms still ached from the fresh ink, a small phoenix, wings spread, carved into my wrist. It wasn't vulgar or loud, it was quiet strength. A reminder that I'd risen from something she would never understand, but she didn't care. She never cared. Growing up, Claire was always the golden one. Soft-spoken, polite, graceful in a way that made people instantly trust her. I was the opposite. Messy, artistic, unpredictable. The girl who painted on walls and wrote poems about things I hadn't lived yet. But whenever she got in trouble, I was the one who took the blame. When she skipped class, I told Mom she was sick. When she broke Mom's vase sneaking out, I said it was me. When she cried over another failed relationship, I was the shoulder she used until she found someone better to lean on. Our parents adored her, but they tolerated me. Yet, when she got married, I showed up, front row, smiling like my heart wasn't breaking from the distance that had already begun to form between us. When she had her first child, I was there in the hospital hallway with flowers and tears. When her husband lost his job, I sent money, quietly without asking for thanks. I babysat, I cooked, I covered bills. No one ever asked me to, but no one stopped me either. I paid their mortgage once when they were about to lose the house. I paid for her son's braces. I even started a college fund for her 2 kids. She used to tell me, "You're our blessing, Ava. Your family." Funny how blessings expire the moment they stop serving someone else's comfort. Her judgment wasn't really about my tattoo. It was about control. The tattoo was just the excuse she needed to push me out of her perfect little bubble, the one I'd been funding for years. It started with distance. She stopped calling. Then came the text. We're keeping the kids away from certain influences. Certain influences meant me. Then came whispers through friends that I was unstable, that my art career was a phase, that I used money to control people. Control. The same word that had kept me awake countless nights, wondering if my worth was conditional on what I could give. I opened the trust account I'd created for her kids. My name was still there, but so was hers, and the balance was lower than it should have been. I went through the statements, each withdrawal a slap in the face, vacations, designer handbags, family emergencies. She'd been dipping into her children's future to fund her present comfort. That was when the silence in me turned cold. I didn't yell, didn't accuse. I simply began to observe, and quietly, I started preparing. She thought I was the emotional one, the dreamer, the soft-hearted fool. But I had something she didn't: patience. For weeks, I played the role she expected, the hurt sister, too fragile to fight back. It made her feel superior, like she'd finally put me in my place. While she gloated, I made calls. Legal calls, the trust fund was under my name. I had every right to move the money, so I did. Every cent. Then I waited, because I knew she'd ask for more. She always did. The call came 2 weeks before summer. "Ava, honey," she said, voice sugar-coated in desperation. "Can you help us cover the flights? We'll pay you back right after the trip." I almost laughed. Instead, I smiled and said, "Of course." Then I wired the remaining funds straight into my personal account. That night, I booked a flight to Italy, for one. Florence was everything she wasn't: messy, beautiful, unapologetically alive. On my first night, I sat on a rooftop bar overlooking the Arno River, sipping wine that cost more than her entire emergency fund spree. My phone buzzed. 12 missed calls, then a message. "You ruined everything." "My kids are devastated." I didn't reply. Instead, I sent her a photo. My wrist resting on the marble table, the phoenix tattoo catching the last light of sunset. Caption, rising again. For once, the silence was mine to keep. Months later, at our mother's birthday, she cornered me in the kitchen, the same kind of perfect kitchen where it had all begun. Her eyes burned with fury. "You took their future." I looked her dead in the eye. "No, you spent it. I just took back what was mine." Her husband tried to mediate, mumbling something about forgiveness, about family, but she wasn't angry because I'd betrayed her. She was angry because I'd stopped letting her use me. I turned to leave, my hand brushing the doorframe. "You kicked me out because of a tattoo," I said. "Turns out, it was the cleanest part of your life." And I walked out, this time, for good. Now I live in Lisbon. I paint. I breathe. I wake up without guilt. The sea outside my window hums like peace itself. The phoenix on my arm isn't just ink anymore. It's a declaration that I burned what was false and rose from what remained. Sometimes she sends messages, apologies wrapped in excuses. I don't respond, because silence isn't weakness, it's freedom. She taught me one thing: family can break you, but they can also fund your rebirth. And when I look at the tattoo on my wrist, I remember I didn't lose a sister. I finally found myself.